Good morning. Welcome to Winnipeg. Welcome to cloudy Winnipeg. Yeah, okay. It got pretty cold last night. For those of you who are wondering, and I got the odd comment about winter coming, it went down to 1 degree Celsius last night. At least that's what my thermometer said. So I went and looked outside and I thought maybe we got frost on the car. But there was no frost. Anyway, what I did do this morning, though, I was watching Peter at Oscale Modeling reviewing his London bus. But he said something in his review that sort of got me thinking about washing your parts in warm soapy water before you paint them. Like I'm going to be painting here today. And I know some of you are thinking, Ron, you'll use any excuse not to have to spray. And so here's another excuse. Yeah, I got to wash my parts first. Okay, now, he said wash it in warm soapy water. So I got to thinking about, yeah, I've occasionally done something like that. I have, actually, I used my ultrasonic cleaner. And I think I went to, I remember what it was. It was all those little pieces that I was going to make a pen out of, a sprue pen. And I wanted to make sure that the acrylic was going to stick as best as possible to the plastic. So I didn't want to have any grease or, what's the name? The word just escapes me here again, as so often is happening lately. Mold release. Yeah. So you want to get the mold release, not mold as in something moldy, like moldy bread, but when you pour your molten plastic into a mold, or in my case it was a mixed up acrylic, if you spray the mold with this, what's called mold release, the plastic comes out of the mold a lot easier. Anyway, yeah, you want to get the mold release, or whatever Trumpeter or whoever, they must use. They don't have their molds are made of metal. They're not made of Teflon, at least not yet. Maybe that's a thought. Maybe they will one day be made out of some sort of hard Teflon that you can, yeah, or maybe they've got it now already. I don't know. Anyway, so I was thinking, what if I was to take the soapy water and have it boiling hot? Would that affect the very, very fine detail that's on some of these parts? And I thought, I don't think I really did a test. Now, I know I took my heat gun way back when I got it to see how hot can I get before a piece of sprue begins to slump, I don't have one here, but you take a little rod of sprue and get it hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter, and nothing happens, and it will become more flexible, but it won't slump, it won't melt. And I was thinking, you should be able to use boiling soapy water. That would help to get rid of the mold release or any other grease on there a lot better than just warm soapy water. But then in fact I know I did, I asked Peter, does he use any kind of a wetting agent afterwards to help get rid of the residue that will be left by the soapy water? Now, in my dishwasher, which I haven't used for about 5 years, I would put a little bit of something we used to hear in North America called it Cascade, or it was a wetting agent, and you put that in your dishwasher, and in the final rinse, it sort of gives a little sample of this wetting agent into the rinse water, so that the water doesn't leave watermarks. Well, watermarks is residue, but then, will the wetting agent leave a residue on your part? A very, very thin film of everything on your part? I don't know. Man, then after I thought, well, what could a person use that has no and I thought, well, what about distilled water? It's not expensive. You can buy a 4 or 5 liter jug of distilled water for about $3 or $4, and that has no leaves no residue, or very little, I guess. Now, maybe I'm sort of going overboard here. I'm thinking of doing a little bit of a test here, because I thought that when I had used this heat gun and went hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter, I had written down on one of these, on one of these posts what the maximum temperature is I can go with this. But I can't find it now, and it doesn't matter because we're going to do it again anyway. I'll do it in time lapse so that it doesn't take all day, because this heat gun has on the back of it you can set it, and it digitally gives a readout. What it does is you set it to the temperature you want. It heats up to that temperature and then shuts down or backs off, you might say. It seems to work. Now, I don't know how accurate it is. Like it might say 200 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit or whatever it happens to be set to, but it might be 210 or 190. It's not going to be super accurate. But I don't know. I think first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and get a pot out of the kitchen and put it on the stove, or I could even I could use a glass bowl and put it in the microwave. Boiling water is boiling water. It doesn't matter how you made it boil. The microwave might be a lot easier. And put some plastic parts in it and boil them and see if I lose any noticeable definition. I'll try and find a piece that I know I'm not going to be on the sprue that I know that I'm not going to be using, like an extra piece. Maybe some of the stuff from the old Bismarck build. For sure I won't be needing that. I don't know if I've got any left. I know I did a big cleanup here about a year ago. I think it was when I made the what I called the Yamato model room, the Yamato room. I used a piece of plywood that I had on the other side of this table here. I was using it as a extra table while I wanted to use it in the back room. And I think at that time, do you really need to know all of this? No. I just go on and on and on, don't I? Anyway, let's do that. Let's boil some plastic and see if we lose definition. Yeah. Okay, now, when I was building the Rodney, it came with 2 of these British amphibious planes called the Walrus. And I only built one of them because I could not figure out where on the ship you put the second one. It's not like the Bismarck that came with 4, what was it, AR-17s or whatever. And just let me zoom in a bit here. Okay, yeah, it came with 4 airplanes, and there was actually places where you could put 4. However, we've got this extra kit here that I'm probably never going to build, but in the event that I do want to build it, I don't want to put a scratch on the top of the wing because that's where you're going to see. But if I was to make the scratch right on the bottom of the wing there, a bunch of scratches, and I'll show you later when I do it why I'm going to put scratches on there. Now, I know there is definition that you can see there, but the real fine definition, it could be boiling water is going to get rid of that. So let me put the macro lens on, and we'll just zoom in right on this area right here. Okay, now, because I don't want this thing to be moving around on me when I'm doing my experiment, or whatever you want to call it. Actually, I don't want it to move when I'm using the macro lens. Okay, so I should be able to make little scratches right there. I will move in a little bit closer. Okay, I think we're about as close as we can get without using the super macro. And I don't think the super macro would work very good in this instant, because when I put a brand new blade on my hobby knife here, a number 11 blade, my hope is that it's going to be as pointy as possible. I suppose I could have used a needle as well, but the idea will be to put some scratches across here, and hopefully what you're going to see is when I scratch it, it's going to make microscopic little, you may call it fraying. At least that's the plan. Yeah, you can sort of see right there, there's something. Maybe if I press just a little bit harder here. Yeah, it's kind of working. Now some of those might actually be loose. I want the ones that are going to, you know, stay in there. If I want to press too hard, I'm going to break the blade off. Okay, now one like this one right here, it's probably going to, that might be loose, I'm not sure. I also want to watch that when I put it in whatever, you know, the glass bowl, and put it in the microwave, that this thing doesn't go flipping around and then rub on the edges of the bowl and knock it off. Okay, I think we should just, let me look at the monitor here. How does that look? Oh yeah, you can see it really good. Okay, next step. Okay, this is the next step, because some of those pieces that we're looking at right now might actually be kind of loose. I don't want to brush them off with a little paintbrush, but what I'm going to try to do here is, being as I've already got my airbrush, you know, plugged in and ready to go, we'll just see if we can blow any of the loose ones off, because I'm going to do a before and after. This is the before shot. The after shot will be after we boil it. Okay, here we go. Okay, that one bigger one, it almost wants to come off, but it's staying on there, so I think it'll stay there in the boiling water. Okay, next step is the boiling water. I have been very lucky in that if somebody had have said to me way back at the end of May, when I first started this going out every day on two wheels business, you're going to get to go out every day except one between now and well into October, I would have thought, well, it is, you know, technically possible, but highly unlikely. But you know, that's what's happened. And yesterday I got to go out again. There was a break in the weather in the evening and late afternoon, and yeah, I got to go out. I wasn't out as long as usual, but yeah, I had a good time. Well, not really. I was actually pretty cold. Yeah, I guess we're soon going to get to the place where it's not going to be any fun unless I'm, you know, dressed in a snowmobile suit or something. And I'm not about to do that, so yeah, well, we're just going to keep going here as long as we can and have a good time as long as we can. Might make it all the way to Halloween. Actually, my insurance on this scooter expires at the end of this month, so yeah, that'll be the end anyway, no matter how nice it is at the beginning of November, because I'm not going to renew it for, you know, I probably wouldn't, you know, in November, it's highly unlikely I'd get to go out very often, so yeah, I've lived in Winnipeg long enough to know that, yeah, in November, snow comes. All right, yeah, I had a good time. Now my thinking here is, if I've got it in this glass, no matter how it flips around, we're not going to worry about the parts, or the scratches, I mean, rubbing against the glass and rubbing off. Okay, I had to put an extension on this. I couldn't reach down inside. Hopefully this is going to work. It may not. You're going to see that I don't want to accidentally scratch the scratches. But you're going to see that this did not turn out the way as planned. Oh, I can't squeeze it. There's got to be a better way here. Why can't I reach that? My fingers are just a little bit too short. Maybe I could do it like this. Yeah, the boiling water has warped the wing. I can almost get it. No, don't scratch the scratches. Okay, they were on the underside right there. Well, you can sort of see them. We're going to put the macro lens back on. We'll let this dry off. This experiment did not work. The boiling water very clearly has warped the wing badly, really badly. I mean, this isn't even usable anymore. Okay, well, this was sort of a waste of time, wasn't it? Well, at least now we know you can't boil these plastic parts. Now, there is the possibility that the 210 or 212 degrees of the boiling water, whatever it is at the altitude of Winnipeg, it's supposed to be 212 Fahrenheit at sea level, but I think it's a little bit cooler this high up. I think Winnipeg is around 760 feet elevation or something like that at the airport. So the ocean has to rise quite a bit for us to, this global warming thing that everybody's talking about. I don't think Winnipeg's going to be affected by ocean rising. Okay, it's starting to dry off here now. Let's get the macro lens back on, just for the fun of it. We know that we can't do this anyway. Okay, I'm sort of pulled back here just a little bit so that we can see that the wing has become extremely distorted. Yeah, that's pretty pathetic, isn't it? It looks more like a little airplane propeller than a wing right now. Well, I guess an airplane propeller is sort of a wing, isn't it? Anyway, let's move it right in on this area here, and then we can do a before and after comparison. Okay, we can see that some of the fraying is still there. I believe this is where that large piece of plastic was, if I'm not mistaken, or was it right there? Anyway, yeah. Note to self, don't boil the parts. Our faithful walkers were a little bit early this morning. In fact, our camera was still in night vision mode. Everything's black and white. Eventually the color kicked in, and when it did, boy, did it ever kick in. Now this is just the natural color. I have not enhanced this. When you see the sunrise like this is the way the camera saw it. I know sometimes you see some sunrise pictures or sunset pictures, and it's so obvious that people have increased the saturation of the color. I like to keep it natural, just the way it actually shows up. And it was pretty nice. For a while anyway. Okay, let's get back to our model table. Okay, here we go again. Another crazy experiment. And as you can see, I've got another camera going on here. I've got them both running at the same time. I'll sync them both up in post later. We're going to zoom in on the readout here, and I know the readout is going to be on its side, but maybe in post I can swing it around and get it right set up. We'll see. Now, right here you can see that this piece of sprue is directly in front of the nozzle of the heat gun. We'll start the heat gun off at around 160. I'll bring it up right away to 160, and then we'll just slowly keep increasing it and increasing it. I think everything is out of the way here for the heat gun isn't going to hurt anything except the sprue, and we'll just see at what point does the sprue start to slump, and I'll use time lapse, so this isn't going to go on forever. Otherwise, it might take about 3 or 4 minutes in real time. But anyway, let's get going here and see what happens. I've got a clamp here holding this down so it doesn't move on me, because these buttons are a little bit hard to. Okay, now. Okay, it starts out at 120. We'll go to 160. Okay, let's zoom in on it. Okay, as you can see, I have just increased it to 220 degrees, and as I'm sitting here, I'm noticing that it's starting to slump. At least I think it is. So I'm not going to cut anything out here. We'll just let everything run at normal speed right now. Well, all I did was cut out footage there. I didn't speed anything up. Yeah, it's kind of complicated to speed things up when you got two cameras going. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Well, usually it does if I work at it long enough, but anyway. Okay, I'm thinking we've reached the point where actually at 220 already it was starting to slump. Let's see if we can stretch it right now. No, it's not going to stretch, but it is extremely pliable. There it goes, starting to stretch. Okay. Now, wasn't that a lot more fun than spraying in the spray booth? I had a lot more fun. Yeah. We can always spray tomorrow. Or, yeah, probably tomorrow now. Yeah. Just let me get my thoughts together here. Well, I guess you can tell we're not going to be spraying today. Yeah. I'm 99% sure we will tomorrow first thing in the morning, but later in the day I have to, there's something I have to do, so I have to cut tomorrow's episode off a little bit early, and that means that there's the possibility that those of you who watch it in Jim Steen's 1/200 scale model ship club Facebook group, I may not get it posted at the usual time. It might be late. We'll see how it goes. Those of you who watch it on YouTube and are notified, you should be notified at the regular time. But the episode might be just spraying the parts and that'll be it. We won't be doing any experimenting tomorrow unless Peter at Oz-Scale Modeling gets me off on another tangent. I mean, this whole thing was your fault, Pete. Yeah, you talked about washing your sprues, and then I don't know what happened here. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody, and all being well, we're gonna see you tomorrow.